Today, let's gather around and tell the story of storytelling. But before I do, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to learn more about that thing in your head. No, not those thoughts about how cute your pet is. They are cute though. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But the brain. Once upon a time, there lived early forms of humans. As they interacted with an increasingly complex environment, they developed tools and the need to transfer skills to others. Initially, this transferring of information may have been in the form of grunts and body language, such as gestures. From an evolutionary standpoint, it became clear that social groups were advantageous for the survival of early humans. Society took on a life of its own. Eventually, social complexity grew, and the passing down of information became advantageous for the development of both societies and humans. The need for more direct means of communication became necessary. Thus, languages emerged. But something else emerged that is as universal as language itself: storytelling and the formation of narratives, which may have first appeared about 30,000 to 100,000 years ago during the most recent Great Ice Age. Storytelling is a widespread social activity that can be seen to this day. It comes in many forms: rumors, literature, movies, and games. In modern times, storytelling became a form of entertainment, but in its earliest form, it may have had an evolutionary advantage. In more simplified terms, storytelling is a form of behavior manipulation. For instance, if you want to get a crowd riled up to fight for your cause, what better way than to tell a story of how someone has wronged a particularly vulnerable individual and is now wrongdoing everyone else, so they must face their punishment for their misdeeds.
Justice.
However, if this was storytelling's only purpose, listeners wouldn't really get anything from the information, as it would only benefit the teller, but not necessarily the listener. Like in the case of our carefully constructed mob, because that exists, they're taking a huge risk to fight for our cause, especially if they won't be direct beneficiaries of taking out our absolutely 100% guilty target. Thus, narrative creation must be beneficial for both the giver and the receiver. Further, if the sole purpose of storytelling was the transfer of essential information, such as tool use and construction, well, there are easier ways to go about doing this than to rely on storytelling, such as direct teaching and hands-on practice. Storytelling has traditionally been a social activity. Creating a collective experience in narrative form is first seen during early childhood development, when theory of mind, construction of peer groups, and even line detection first emerges. Interestingly, narrative comprehension may share neural networks associated with theory of mind. Briefly hitting the potential involved brain regions, this core mentalizing network includes the medial prefrontal cortex, the temporal parietal junction, and the left inferior frontal gyrus. This network is associated with many other processes. Therefore, storytelling may be a product of multiple sophisticated cognitive functions. Storytelling creates a shared experience that can either enhance or suppress memories. Coherent stories are built on blueprints that help guide selection of formation of memories. These story blueprints can help simplify thinking and communicating about social experiences. Story skeletons may account for cliches, callbacks, and constant use of familiar tropes. For example, the damsel in distress cliché is one of the most well-known clichés in Western culture. It appears in movies, comic books, video games, and even poetry. The classic story of the big strong man rescuing a dainty female from the clutches of a dragon communicates so much about traditional culture in one simple outline. It communicates that men are to be strong, unfaltering, and brave, while women are to be fragile, young, and even prizes to be won. In a single outline, it dictates how men and women judge others and should be judged themselves. Such story mechanics aid in human memory by reducing memory load using pre-existing knowledge structures shared by a group of people. As mentioned, storytelling comes in many forms. Let's consider gossip as a form of storytelling. River is standing by the office water cooler, drinking their morning cup of coffee. Why the water cooler? I don't know, that's just how it is. not the point. Skylar comes to grab a cup of water and take a break from the tedium and despair that is office work. River gets Skylar's attention. Hey, you hear about Pat over there? No. What about Pat? Well, I heard that Pat is having marriage issues with the spouse. They've been married for 10 years, yet they hardly see each other. No way, what? Last night, Pat was spotted at the nice restaurant on what appeared to be a date with Jamie, and Pat's spouse didn't even know. It doesn't matter if there's any truth to what River has told Skylar. The important function of this kind of storytelling is to identify people in social groups who may take advantage of others. Thus, as reputation management tools, storytelling may help identify social cheaters. Nevertheless, there are different forms of storytelling, and not all forms are utilized for the purpose of identifying social cheaters. In addition to behavior manipulation and knowledge transfer, and as a form of social cohesion, storytelling may offer a unique benefit to both creator and recipient, that being an understanding of and an explanation for novel situations or things encountered that are not easily explained or predicted. This may also account for the narrative forms of rumors and myths. These often emerge in the presence of ambiguous situations or informational gaps. As much as storytelling relies on existing schemas, the teller can use this to help the group understand novel situations. Let's return to the damsel in distress from a few moments ago. As culture changes, maybe perspectives on behaviors change. What if a novelist changed the story? The sun shines over a hill. The silhouette of a stallion casts a shadow in the distance, and upon the stallion is a powerful princess, holding in one arm the head of a dragon. It's really huge. I don't know how she's doing it, but she's doing it, and I'm here for it. Her beautiful prince is riding behind her on her horse, beaming in awe at his courageous princess. As a form of collectively making sense of the world, storytelling may be an ideal way for groups to deal with unexpected events, or to account for changing cultural perspectives and norms. When experiences can't be categorized or predicted, it's surprising and often causes distress. Storytelling may be the response to such aversive states. Meaningful storytelling often infuses something new or unexpected. As a collective form of sense-making, storytelling offers a reason for or solution to incongruous states and unpredictable events. According to researchers, storytelling is the primary way in which collective sense-making is achieved. Overall, storytelling may be an adaptive way in which cultural information is transferred and updated to account for the unpredictability of our environments. The telling of stories appears in every culture around the world. It functions as everything from sheer entertainment to social guidelines by which everyone is expected to live. Regardless of how hard they try to criticize and dismember them, the professional critic will always be at odds with cliches and tropes, because no matter how they change, the human brain, wrapped inside culture, will almost always find a way to simplify stories and create sense-making narratives. Thus, as humans and languages continue to evolve, cliches will live happily ever after. If you liked what you watched, consider subscribing to my channel and sharing with family and friends. Also, make sure to hit that like button. Also, if you want to support my channel with big brainiac energy, then head on over to my Patreon page to become a contributing member. And as always, thank you for watching.